Good morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Action over fear. I would say it was a lot of action last night. And today we have with us Michal Oshman as a keynote on the topic of playground courage, action over fear. So Michal is a seasoned leader in tech, finance and advertising, formerly driving culture and leadership at TikTok and Meta. Passionate about people, culture, she blends spiritually and leadership principles to create compassionate workplaces. This sounds very cool. So let's hear her session, Playground Courage, Action Over Fear, to develop a deeper understanding on how to bring your authentic self into your leadership role. Please, a round of applause for Michal.
Thank you.
I would just like to add that we will ask something from you, but then you will get something in return, right? Let's start, and we'll come to that.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for pronouncing my name so nicely, Luca. Not everyone can do it, but I feel like people here pronounce my name really well, so it's special. It is really special to be here this morning. I did not party last night. I arrived very late, but I heard you had a good night. And how wonderful it is that you get offered nice coffee when you're sitting here to help you recover. And by the way, one of the reasons I'm here, I think the main reason I'm here is obviously meeting all of you, but mainly because I connected so much to the organizing team. How much heart is there in this organization, right? Like, you feel it, seriously. We've been speaking maybe for 6 months, and my team speaking with Robert and with others, and they just said, they're amazing people, you have to go. And then I get here and I was like, everything is amazing, not just the people. So it's very special. And I love the title that we chose for this talk, because I really connect to the words on the title of the talk: courage, action, but also fear. And I want to start where we all start, with what makes us us. And every single person here, when you interact with each other at work or here socially, we all start somewhere. And I think to be able to work and live meaningfully, we really need to understand, who is this person that's standing in front of me? What's their story? What's their narrative? So I want to share a little bit more about myself. So this is my story. This is where I start. This is my grandmother, Chana. Chana was on the train, which she later discovered was on the way to Auschwitz. She was lucky enough and brave enough to jump off the train. She was shot at and injured. She hid in a pig's barn for a couple of weeks. She lost her mother, her father, her brother, and her sister in the Holocaust, but she survived. And she raised me, together with my grandparents. I sat on her lap. She was on a wheelchair for the years that we were together, and I heard from her the story of her survival. I saw a lot of resilience in her eyes, but also a lot of fear. And really, the first feeling that I remember in my whole life is fear. My grandmother, Chana, believed that something like this can happen again, and her mission was to prepare me for life. Therefore, she used to force feed me almost huge amounts of chicken soup so I can be stronger and fuller. If something bad happens, that I can survive a few more days. My son is sitting here. He knows that I can't smell, taste, or be in the same room with chicken soup. I know it's very yummy, but for me, it reminds me of the fear, because, it was food for survival. We used to hide tuna cans all over the house, and after she passed away, it took us months to find all the food that she hid, because we had escape plans together of what would happen when the next horrible thing happens. This is my childhood. I thought that everyone was like this, that everyone is afraid, and everyone knows that their ending can come today or tomorrow. I grew up to be a very anxious young girl, but no one knew about it. And my mission in life was to be perfect. I wanted to make my grandparents, all of my grandparents are Holocaust survivors. I wanted to make, and lost their families in the Holocaust. I wanted to make their survival worth it. So I tried to be the best daughter and the best granddaughter and the best student, and I became extremely anxious. But I told no one about this. I wanted to please the world. Failing was my biggest fear in life. Disappointing, nothing can be worse. So this is who I am from the inside. Under this professional head of culture, head of leadership at Facebook, this is who I am. I'm also a mother of 4 children, and I fought really, really hard for many years, for 49 years, to overcome the fear and to be able to deal with this anxiety. And we're going to talk today about fear, and everyone has different fear. I just shared my personal fear, but everyone has their own story, their unique story. When I joined Facebook about 12 years ago, I was in my late 30s. I was working on my anxiety, and I really tried to persevere life. I tried to do my best. I thought that everyone is afraid, but then I saw this slogan, this mantra, which really defines Facebook culture. And it says, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And just next to that big sign that was on the wall on Facebook, there was a sign that said, fail harder. And I was shocked. It took me a year to get into Facebook, 50 million interviews. I felt like an imposter every single second I was there. And then the company is asking me, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Acknowledging the fact that I am afraid. And next to that sign was fail harder. And you know those companies that they have values on the walls, but really the lived culture is different? That's not the case at Facebook. We worked through this lens. What would you do if you weren't afraid? If you weren't afraid of failing, if you weren't afraid of disappointing, if you weren't afraid from the bug in the system, what would you do? You would do so much more. You would be more creative. You would allow yourself to go beyond your own limits, your limitations, what's the boundaries that we all have in our heads. That sign, fail harder, also helped me understand that I will fail, and that life is filled with failure and disappointment. We fail in our personal lives, in our professional life. We sometimes fail and disappoint our children. We don't want to, but it happens. And when I joined Facebook and I realized that there is a workplace that actually is starting to bring meaning to my personal life, I felt more and more engaged with the culture. I wasn't close to the products, I was head of leadership, but I realized this is a workplace. You can say this is a corporate playground that can actually help me with my full life, my everything life. Because let's be honest, we're all tired of putting masks on when we go to work. Maybe 20 years ago, 10 years ago, we could be one thing at home, and then at work we pretended we were wearing also lots of suits and all of Zara and Mango suits to be able to get our first job in finance. And that's fine. But today, we're kind of fed up. We want to come to work, to that playground, which is the workplace, with who we are, with our background stories, with who we are from our sexual identity, family identity, national identity, faith. We just want to be ourselves in the context of the workplace. And what you need to do as leaders is to create a culture that allows people to do that, respectfully, of course. One of the best ways, and I did research this topic, I promise you, one of the best ways to get over fear is by taking action. Today, there's so much going on that we sometimes freeze. Today, we want everything to be perfect and to be exactly the way we think it should be. And our careers, I have young children, they're now doing their A-levels and they're going to university. They want it to be perfect. What is perfect? How do you know what you want to be when you're 18? How do you know what you want to be when you're 50? I'm still confused. But taking action, doing the one thing, daring, being courageous really helps us get over the anxiety. And also reminding ourselves, yes, we're going to fail. We're going to get a few things wrong. I want to share with you some kind of taking action over fear moments that I had. Some of them are deep, some of them are not. One, I published a book. I'm not an author. I actually don't think, I'm sure my son is sitting here and he's saying, how many grammar mistakes is she making? English is not, am I? No. English is not my mother language, but I felt that I had a story to tell. And I decided I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to get people to help me, but I will write a book. I couldn't believe that I achieved that thing, and I was really afraid. Choosing action over fear is also a decision to move country, to a country where you don't understand the rules, and you don't understand the language, and you have to take 3 steps back in the job or the career that you had, and you're not allowing your ego to be in the way because you want to grow, because you desperately want to grow, which I know people in this room, that's what you want. We want to grow. We want to be a better version of ourselves. My daughter is now 18 and she's joining a leadership academy, and we met with the organizing team, and I loved when they said, if you don't want to grow, if you don't want to improve, don't join the academy. We don't want anyone that thinks that they're a finished article. And I thought that was amazing. If you're going to learn, acknowledge the fact that you're not complete yet. Another decision that I made, and again, it's very career-wise, when I moved from Facebook to TikTok. I don't know if you had that joy of feeling fully connected to a workplace. That's how I felt at Facebook. I felt that it was a place where I could be myself. I became a mother for the 4th time there. All my other workplaces, they thought I would never come to work after 3 months of giving a baby, giving birth, and they kind of looked at me in a different way. Facebook, my manager told me, get pregnant, right? She encouraged me, go for it. I'm going to support you. It's going to be fine. It's a place that really became who I am. And then TikTok were knocking on my door for a year, sending me emails in Chinese that I couldn't understand. But then I figured out they really wanted me to join. And I said, why leave a place that feels so safe and everyone knows me? And you know those places when you work, you don't have to say anything. It's just so comfortable and also challenging. But then TikTok represented the apps that my children choose to be on, and the place that they're spending their time, and I wanted to be able to influence. So I took myself out of the comfort zone, and I was very nervous about TikTok and all the geopolitical, complications, and Trump was the president back then, not that they don't have issues now. And I decided to take that leap of change in my career. I'm not there anymore. It wasn't my new home, and after 3 years I left, but I tried it. And very recently, I chose action over fear by leaving the company and not having any job waiting outside. Have you ever done that? It's really scary. You have 4 children and a family and a mortgage and a career, and for the first time in my life, I'm not working for a big corporate with a big brand. I'm working for me. That's scary. Let's see how it goes. For now, the kids still have something to eat, so we're doing okay. We live in this world of too muchness. There is too much going on. I feel it. I feel it in my shoulders. I feel it in my heart. There is too much going on. Too many expectations from ourselves, from the world around us. Too many options. Just too much. And this too muchness causes a lot of fear and anxiety. Even if, here we're in a beautiful environment and you had a good time last night and that's amazing, but normally our day-to-day is really filled with too much. It's very confusing today also. What kind of parent should I be? What kind of leader should I be? Should I be more empathetic or more strict and direct? How flexible should I be? Should I go left? Should I go right? What's good? What's wrong? In this world of too muchness, the workplace really matters, because the workplace is also a community. I don't know if you mentioned the word community in the last couple of days. It's a word that I'm really fascinated by recently. The power of community. how much strength and how much confidence and how much meaning do we get when we belong to a community, and the workplace can be a playground where we get together as a community. It's not your family. We're not married to each other. You're not my children or my cousins. But we're connecting around, hopefully, an idea. I know that the idea of all of us here together that we want to grow, that we want to improve, that we want to change. So at work, it's a playground, if we do it well, around a certain idea or meaning that people connect to, and then they feel like we're safe, we're together, we care about each other. And today, trust really matters. Trust was our highest, agenda or strategy focus at TikTok for two reasons. Trust, obviously, with users on the platform, and also trust internally. When people feel overwhelmed, the thing that they want most is to feel trusted, and also to trust the people around them. To know that you're coming with good intent, that what you want is good for me and good for you, that you're curious to understand, who is this person standing in front of me? What matters to them? Building trust today, I believe, is more critical than ever. People will choose a workplace based on how much meaning, trust, and community they will feel. If 20 years ago, people left their jobs because the role itself wasn't meaningful enough, and we said 10 years ago that people are leaving the workplace because of their manager, today people are leaving or joining companies because of the culture. My children will never join a workplace that doesn't make them feel that they're doing something meaningful in this world, that they're contributing, that they're doing something that really matters. So whatever you do with your team, regardless of how old they are or how many years they have experience, know that inside of them, they want to feel trusted. They want you to understand who they are. They want you to tell them who you are and understand who they are. And they also are looking for meaning. One of the healthiest things that you can do today in this too muchness world is search for meaning. And you don't have to always find it. And meaning changes as we go in life. At some point in my life, the only meaning I had was to feed my baby. And then at another time, another phase in my life, the meaning that I had was to write a book. And then in another phase of my life, my meaning was to build a community in the neighborhood around me, get people together to do voluntary work. Meaning doesn't mean that you're a big CEO or a president standing on a big stage. Meaning means what this company is doing to all of you, connecting you together around something that really, really matters. So the workplace is a playground. And all of you were once kids, right? And you had the early experience. You too, Robert. Robert is like, I'm not sure. And all of us, if we take off the masks and the makeup and all the things that we put on, which is fine, inside there is a child that is hanging out with other people, that wants to be included, that wants to be seen, that wants to feel safe, and also wants to have some fun. And it's completely possible to achieve all of that if you become and continue to be incredible leaders in each of your fields. I don't know if anyone knows Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I see some nods. I wanted to add it here because it really matters. It gives some practicality to what I'm talking about. Every single person here has a hierarchy of needs. And if our basic needs are not met, it's very hard for us to grow as people, as leaders, as parents, as community people. And one of the things that we have to remember when we build a culture, or if we look at the workplace as a playground, how can we make this playground meaningful for people? How can people feel comfortable in this playground? How can they feel safe? And I'm mentioning the word safe again and again because in a too muchness world, safety really helps. So all of us have basic needs of physical safety, and even the coffee that Robert gave us this morning helped us recover. Physical safety, psychological safety, meaning that you need to know that you have something to eat and that you have a bed to sleep in, and that when you get back home, you're going to arrive safely home and you're going to arrive safely to work. And only when and you're going to get your salary in the right date, right, in the right time when you expect it. And when our basic needs are fulfilled, then we can start looking for what really helps us grow as people, as leaders. We want to feel a sense of love. Love. If you admit it or not, we all want to feel loved. And sometimes when I say the word love in corporates, they're like, ugh. Love, it's basic. That someone cares about you, that someone sees you, that you matter. Doesn't mean that they have to be all over you, but yeah, I care about you. You matter to me. I want to help. I want to be here for you. And also a sense of belonging. We talk a lot about belonging in the world of diversity and inclusion. Belonging means that I'm part of a company, I'm part of the team. I don't have to change who I am. I don't have to put a lot of masks. I don't have to hide parts of what makes me me. I'm in this company, I'm part of this community, I'm accepted, and I belong. That feels really nice. I often think about how can I make sure that each of our children, feel that they fully belong in the family, that we see their special talent, that we make space for them in the dinner table, that we see all of them for what they are, the special children that they are. It's the same thing at work. And only once these needs are fulfilled, then we can think about our OKRs and our KPIs and our goals and our big presentations. But the basic needs are needed to make us feel grounded, to have those roots, to create a foundation. As someone that personally didn't feel rooted in this world for many years, I can tell you, when you feel connected to a place, you can bring so much more of yourself. When you don't have the roots and you're so scared, it's very hard to be yourself. You're always holding back. You're always afraid. In my book, I quote a song that I really like. Okay, I didn't put it in this version of the book. Just a second. Sorry, I have a hard copy. Let's do this. And I'm without my glasses, but it's going to be okay. Okay, this is the song, and that's why you're seeing a bridge. The whole world is a very narrow bridge. A very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. And the main thing is to have no fear. To have no fear at all. This is a song that comes from my own culture, but it really holds a deep idea that life is filled with bridges. We're facing bridges all the time. Bridges are choices that we need to make, decisions that we have to decide on, opportunities, and we stand and we see the bridge, or we can imagine the bridge. And we don't know, is it my bridge? Where do I belong? On this side of the bridge or the other side of the bridge? I'm afraid to go on the bridge because some bridges are really tall and wobbly. Dating. Don't know if anyone is living in the world of dating. Dating can feel like a really narrow bridge recently. Should I go out with them? Are they right for me? Send me 5 more pictures. Send me a picture of him from the back, from the front, from up and down. Maybe what we need to do is not ask for 50 million pictures. Just go on the date. Try. I meet with people and they say, I want to do a career change. And then I ask them, and what do you do about it? I'm not sure. How will you change your career without doing anything? Raise your hand, tell your manager, I'd like to try to work on that project. I've never done something like that exactly before, but my transferable skills should be really helpful. I hear people saying, I want to change in my life. What are you doing about it? What I'm seeing more and more through coaching many leaders in different sectors and industries, that people are standing in front of bridges and they're freezing. And I truly believe that you don't have to cross a bridge by yourself. going back to the idea of community. There's something beautiful about crossing a bridge with someone else or getting someone else to help you. In order to do that, you have to share what's going on for you at work and, of course, with your friends. Someone very, very, very smart came up with this very simple line. If you change nothing, nothing will change. That was Albert Einstein. Brilliant, right? A genius. If you change nothing, nothing will change. Don't expect to meet your boyfriend, have a career change, start being super fit without dating, applying for a new job, or going to the gym or for a run. Not going to happen. We have to change something, and it's often within ourselves to be able to see change in life. Einstein said it, not me. And one of the things that we really need to do is, as leaders, and I know that we have leaders here in the room, how can you help your teams make the change that they want to make? Your team, one of them, two of them, they want to grow. You can see that sparkle in their eye. Help them make the change. Help them become what they want to be and grow. Now, we want to hear more about you. So we're going to do something quite fun, right, Luca? Should I hand it over to you? Yeah?
Do you hear me? Yes, great. Okay, so Slido, remember Slido? Who is Slido? So you used it yesterday for questions, and we will using it today also for questions and answers. But there you have one pool, and you probably see the question. So if somebody forget how to get there, you have printed these barcodes there and there, okay? And you have a Q&A tab and you have a polls tab. And in the polls, you could see this question. If you could change one thing, what would you change? So. Yes, Einstein. I see.
You can change the world.
I see. I see a world leader potential here. Chris, we'll talk later. Okay, so about yourself, right?
About your life, about yourself, about how you approach things, about your perspective, doing something, stop doing something. What's the one thing that you would change?
So while we're waiting for
Yes.
this, I have one question for you.
Yes.
So it's always great for me to participate in this type of talks and sessions, and it's always inspirational, etc. But then you come home.
Yeah.
You go to a totally different surrounding, totally different, you know. Mm. And it's hard to take what you heard here, at least for me, it seems hard. So what would be your tip? Okay, we need to start small probably.
Yep.
But how can we, you know, keep at least part of this story and make it a part of our life?
So thank you for asking. So the reason we asked this question is really to allow you to maybe take that one thing. But I also think it's a commitment. So I read the same books at work, and the same books are by my bed. I'm always thinking. I'm always self-awareness, right? So you have to commit to self-awareness. It's a commitment. For example, when you interact with someone, you're thinking, what do they think about me? How am I bringing myself? What energy am I bringing? What energy are they bringing? How can we meet in the middle? You're wired like that anyway. That's what this is all about, to have a level of awareness about yourself, how you make other people feel, and also what do you need from the world. The one thing I wanted to really share is that everything is normal. All those feelings that we're feeling, too muchness, anxiety, confusion, overwhelm, we're going through this together, and the best way to navigate through this is with this playground, is in a community.
Thank you. So, everybody, you had your question.
Give us your answers. Are people answering? Yeah. Ooh. Can you take some screenshots? It's anonymous, right? Yeah. Oh, wow. I think Luca's going to share, right? What are people saying?
Okay, so let's go from the start. If you could change one thing, what would you change? So first answer is more discipline, more organization. Okay, sounds good. Robert? Discipline. Sorry, I need to put this here because the questions are coming like football results, you know. So
it's the Eurovision tonight or tomorrow.
Michal,
yeah, no, you're
please,
the Eurovision.
Please join me here. Yeah,
yes.
And, you know.
We're the Eurovision hosts.
Let's sit down.
Yes,
yeah.
Lucas, yes.
Okay. Deep point. Okay. Stop, please. We cannot change everything today, you know. Yeah, the lines are closed, please. Stop voting, okay? This one is good. So, if you could change one thing, what would you change? My job. Robbie. This is cool. I said stop it, please don't send anymore, because I'm losing it. I get mad too fast.
Wow.
I would like to change that.
Oh, that's me too.
Whoever
said that, that's my development area as a mother. Whoever said that, I love you.
I said it.
I feel you. Yeah.
Of course, no. I have one here also, but you know. Have more time for myself.
Listen, I spoke today more generally. I often speak from a voice of a mother in tech. Put yourself up there, right? Put yourself, your needs, what matters to you, your growth. Don't feel guilty. It's not at the expense of anyone else. Yeah, whoever said that, book a massage for 1 p.m. They have a last slot open.
To stop caring about what anyone else thinks of me.
Doesn't matter what they think. Unless it's someone very close to you. And no, seriously, for a comment like that, I've never got so deep comments.
I told you that we're a great group, you know, especially from last night. So yesterday there was just talks
so much heart.
Yeah.
No one cares how you danced last night. No, seriously, very deep comments. I'm not joking now. I never get such deep comments. It means that people are in a truly reflective space, which is a good starting point. We worry a lot what people think about us because we lost confidence in ourselves. The safest thing is always to go back inside you.
Yeah, we really have some great answers, like more time for my family, be more patient with myself, and take time to enjoy life.
Yes. Can you send these to me later?
Yes, I will.
Gosh, brilliant.
So then I have one, my job.
Good, okay, people make decisions.
Yeah, decisions are... Go from a people pleaser to me pleaser. Okay. It sounds like a shirt sign, you know. Start doing things on time.
Okay.
Speak about feelings.
Wow.
Being more open for new ideas. Be more relaxed about everything.
That's maybe me, even though I didn't complete.
I have here grow my hair, but it's not me.
Very deep thing, very deep comments.
Not care less about what others are thinking. Be more present. I like this one. Wait for a while, stop, and think about what is happening. Learn to drive. Okay. That I'm more self-aware and have courage to make a change. So, how can we become this? To have courage, more courage to make the change?
It's a big question, and we're about to finish, I think.
Yeah.
I also have 3 copies of my book for anyone that will ask us questions here. So if you're happy to do that.
Yeah, this is really, really, I don't know.
Very deep.
We can go
By
all
the
day.
fact that they're saying this, that's already 30% of it. So let's look at this from a different perspective.
Yeah.
When someone writes something down, and they're putting words to it, and they're putting their heart to it, that's 30%. How many people get to the end of their life not even knowing who they were? Unfortunately, I have someone very close to me that entered their life and they were just avoiding. No one here is avoiding. Right? No one here is avoiding. The one thing I didn't mention in my presentation, and I really want to, this is actually something I learned at TikTok. The importance of patience. People we're not patient, many of us. We want results now. We want it now. We want things to be solved now, because we live in a world when we have an app and they can send us food, and then we want to fix our face, so we do some Botox. Someone told me that you can do it very quickly in the lunch break. And then you want quick, and then we go on the app date. We want solutions now. But these things, in your iPad, these things take time. And they take commitment. But if you write down the one thing, that person that wants to be less angry quickly, that one person that wants to prioritize themselves, that one person that wants to quit their job, write it on your phone, on your notebook, write it down, send it to yourself, send it to me, and then start building a plan, 3 bullet points, 4 bullet points, how are you going to get there? You have the skills, you're leaders. We just need to commit and be patient.
Great. So, we have 3 books here, and you have the opportunity to ask any other question.
Anything about what I shared from the beginning to the end, anything.
I think this is a great deal, you know. So,
here we have.
Sasha.
So my question.
Hi, Sasha.
Hi. So you said you need to take action and do the first step, but of course the first step is just the first step. How do you go from taking this first step to making it a habit?
So there's obviously lots of theories about habits, specifically I think on eating and exercising, and I think if you don't do something for less than 3 weeks, it doesn't become a habit. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in that field. I think that the first step is that step of I want, it matters to me. I'm also, and sorry to be a bit spiritual, I'm sending signals to this world that I'm here and this is what I'm interested in. I'll give you an example. When I wanted to meet my son's father, my husband, I was dating a lot. And my friends weren't saying, they wanted to meet also a partner, but I didn't say anything. I was the one, every time we went to a family occasion, I was like, do you have anyone to introduce to me? Right? And I remember like my sister, right? I don't care. If I'm ready for something, I need the world to help me. Right? So it's, so it's like it's more of an entertaining example, but it's a real example. If you're looking to change your job, don't keep that in your head. Look at your LinkedIn, look at the pictures of your Facebook from people that you went to school with. Have some coffees. One of my biggest mistakes when I was at Facebook, I only stayed for 7 years in one company, never went for the networking events, never went for drinks, never socialized. I was always in my own bubble. To open a little bit. And I'm an introverted, even though I'm standing on stage. I don't like hanging out with drinks. What we did last night, I'm sure was fun, but actually doesn't work for me. So everyone has their own way to open up a little bit to the world and send the world this message and yourself, I'm ready for change. And you get a book, Sasha.
Great. Who's next? Sarah.
First of all, thank you so much for this beautiful presentation. I was able to connect to many things that you have talked about, and I'm not in IT business, I'm a composer, but many of the things that you talked about are very similar in the art world. And I was wondering if you would have an advice on people who are freelancing, as I'm guessing you are too, in a way.
Very new.
How do you have any tips on how to be in a negotiating room where you have to negotiate a salary, which you even yourself maybe find it's too high for your work, for instance?
Nothing is too high for your work.
That's very good. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tip. Yeah.
I'm married to an investment banker.
So you want 2 books? You want 2 books?
I am married to an investment banker. I'll tell you something. I know this is a big subject. My grandmother, both my grandmothers had their own small businesses, right? One had a shop, and the other was renting flats. I saw I grew up with fearless women, sad, but full of strength women around me, because they've seen the worst. They've had, do you know what I mean? They had no boundaries almost. So I think it's in the mindset. I always ask myself, what is the worst outcome that can happen? And my golden line when I negotiate, will I regret this in 6 months of not doing it? And that gives me a lot of courage. I have to say that with money and negotiation, I guess I am blessed with good enough self-worth. I'm worth as much as possible, and definitely like a man or any other, person working with me. Yeah.
Yes, please. Bravo. Bravo.
And Sarah, if you're about to negotiate for something, we can mock negotiate. I'm quite strong in that field.
Sarah, next year you have to come and tell us how this works. Annabelle?
Annabelle, I really felt like you're present. Like there's so many people that when I spoke, like I felt you.
Yeah, I felt really connected with what you said, and I couldn't keep my eyes off you talking. So thank you very much.
Annabelle.
It was really inspiring. My question would be: you talked about how you should dare to do more things, how you should be fearless, and then also on the other side that sometimes you do fail. In fact, so my question would be: if you fail, when that happens, what's your advice on how to deal with it? Because assuming you have built this self-worth and you have taken the step and you have moved forward and you have taken the decision, and it turns out, as you said, maybe with TikTok, similar experience, it was a mistake, or not necessarily a mistake, that's the question, but you failed. What's your advice on how to deal with that?
So I forgot one of my slides, and it had the word ego there. So I'm sure there's some people here, probably everyone, that's carrying an ego inside of us, which is the most normal thing in the world. And I'm really grateful, Annabelle, that you reminded me of this ego, okay? So this ego, and different faiths and different religions and different spiritual ways think about the ego. You can call it whatever you want. There's a part of us that is in our way, that always reminds us what's not good about us, that always reminds us what can go wrong, and that part of us stops us from living life meaningfully and in a joyous way. There's a part of us, and life, I believe, is navigating through that tension between all the good things that we want to do to this ego. Sometimes the ego is amazing because it encourages, it pushes us, but sometimes it's really in our way. You spoke about my move to TikTok. I don't define it as anything. I tried something. Yes, I took a risk. When we fail, it doesn't feel nice. I want to share a tiny story that connects to ego. When it was very hard to be accepted to work for Facebook back then. And I remember when I applied on LinkedIn, there were more than 900 applicants. So immediately, this side of me said, who do you think you are that you're going to apply for this role? Why would they choose you? But it was 1 a.m. and I said, never mind, I'll send the CV. then anyway, started the interviews, got the job after a long period, and from the first second that I started working for Facebook, I had this imposter syndrome. I thought I wasn't smart enough, wasn't good enough. Every single time that my manager messaged me, I thought he was going to fire me. Facebook had a very interesting culture. It was fully a relationship-based culture. No one cared what your level was. You didn't have a title. It was all about, we had like a no assholes policy, right? So this was like the culture, all relationship-based, but on the other side, it was high demand, high impact, measure your, your effectiveness all the time. So you were like two parts of this. And then I got a big project in the very beginning in my probation period, right? The 6 months when they can just get rid of you without any problem. So my manager gives me this project. And I know this project really matters. So I put all my assertiveness and dial it up to borderline aggressiveness and rub people in the wrong way. The project was a success. I was a failure. I failed in reading the room, reading the relationship. I got terrible feedback, and I was very close to being fired. You know when you're like, your body becomes red, you want to dig a hole under, like just, those are the moments of failure at work when you're like, why did I do it? Why didn't I why didn't I break? These hurt. I'm not talking about moving from one company to the other. Things that are really personal. I got tough feedback from my boss, but he said, go home, have some ice cream, come back tomorrow and start making new mistakes. That's my approach. But no one can take away the uncomfortable feeling when we get things wrong. How many times do I get things wrong with my children when I say something that a minute after I said, how did you even how did these words come out of your mouth? But we're on a journey.
Exactly.
Right? We're on a journey and we have to finish.
No, we don't. More, please. Thank you, Michal. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Do you want something to add?
We're here for 24 hours, my son and I, because you know what? This is a better school than going to school today, right? Woo!
Sure is. Thank you once again.
Thank you.